Hello friends, welcome to Mechanical Engineering online classes.
Wedge friction. Wedge is a triangular or trapezoidal shaped tool that can be made of wood or metal depending on where we are going to use it. So one of its end will be very much pointed such that using this pointed edge we can give a force or pressure from the other end, so that this wedge or this sharp tool can be used to keep two objects apart. The advantage of this is that with slightly little force P, it can create a large quantity of normal forces. So for example, the applications, if we have a wooden log and if we want to break it apart, so then into the crack of the wooden log we can insert this wedge, and on application of a hammer blow whose value may be P, impact force is P, so as we give forces continuously, this wedge will be, it is easy for this wedge to get into the log, increasing the crack propagation, increasing the crack length, so that the wooden log can be broken into two pieces. So because it is having one pointed edge, on the other edge P is applied, and this pointed edge will be going deeper and deeper into the wooden log. So that is one of the example of where a wedge can be used. Apart from just that, we can use wedges in other cases like moving heavy objects. So suppose this pink one, this is a heavy object. So I want this heavy object to move rightward. So I want this to move rightward. So for which we will be inserting a wedge in between this one object and the heavy object. So this particular wedge, which is shown here, will be pushed between the two heavy objects. This is one object, this is another object. So this is the first one, this is the second one. Between these two, a wedge will be inserted with a force P, and as the wedge is pushed downward, this heavy object will be moving rightward. So in order to move heavy objects, or even in order to lift a heavy object, for example, we have a very heavy object here kept on the floor, so we can insert a wedge here. So as this wedge is inserted deeper and deeper, this object will tend to raise up. So once the object started tipping, so this can be hooked to a crane and it can be lifted and shifted to a different place. So therefore, with the help of wedges, we can do heavy duty jobs where with small input force, a higher normal reactions can be developed. So let us see it through an example. Here is a question. A block of mass 250 kg is raised by a 10 degrees wedge that weighs 50 kg under it, and by applying a horizontal force P on the wedge, the block must be raised. So the coefficient of friction between all the surfaces of contact is given as 0.3. There are many contact surfaces, right, between the block and the wedge, then wedge and the floor, the block and the wall. For all these surfaces, mu is 0.3. We should find the minimum force that should be applied to raise the block. So what is that minimum force? That is P. So we have to find minimum value of P, which when given to wedge leftward should raise the block 250 kg upward. So we need to find the minimum P to raise the block, and needless to say that for this we have to take the FBD of the wedge, because P is applied on the wedge. So when we draw the FBD of the wedge, here comes P, then there will be a normal reaction. So there is because wedge will be inserted leftward, so the friction will be rightward, and then there is a reaction force from the block also. The reaction from the block onto the wedge will be perpendicular to this inclined plane. Wedge problem is just like a block or object on inclined plane only, so the normal reaction from block. So we have to know all these forces in order to find P. So it is okay. This normal reaction and this friction, this one and this one are independent of the block, but we need at least this value from the block FBD. So in order to find P, we have to first draw the FBD of the block, from where we can find the reaction on the wedge from the block. So let us start with drawing the FBD of the block. So as the first step, let us consider the free body diagram of 250 kg block. And as already discussed in the FBD video lecture, the block that we are considering, that we are drawing, should be of the same shape and size as that is given. Here if you see, it is not a rectangular block, it is not rectangle, it is slightly inclined on one side. So these are all perpendicular only, but here there is a tilt. This is given as 10 degrees. So we have to maintain that. Otherwise the normal reaction force direction will change. So therefore I am drawing the block as it is. So let us take down all the forces that must be acting on this. So the weight force will be acting vertically down. This is 250 kilogram. The mass is given. I am converting it into newtons. So this is 250 into 9.81. The units will be newtons. But this particular block, this particular surface is in touch with the block. So this particular place. So it will give a normal reaction. So we are replacing that wall with a normal reaction. So that we can show as, say, N1, which is perpendicular to the vertical face of the block. This is N1, say, and the wedge is replaced by the normal reaction given from the wedge. So it will be perpendicular to this inclined plane. So these two are perpendicular here and these two will be perpendicular here. Let this be N2. So let us see how the friction will be acting. Now in this particular case, at the inclined surface, if we check, the wedge is like this. The wedge is given a force P leftward, means the wedge will be moving leftward. So that means, otherwise we can say that the block is moving up the inclined plane. So when the block is moving up the inclined plane, its friction will be down the inclined plane. So we can show the frictional force here. I am writing it in terms of its normal reaction, mu into N2. The frictional force is mu N2 acting left down. And similarly, the block is in touch with a vertical wall here. So as the wedge is moving leftward, the block is moving up the inclined plane. So the block is moving upward. The block is moving upward, a friction is generated here which will be downward. So the frictional force at this particular contact surface will be downward, which is mu into N1. Or otherwise, to simplify this FBD, we can find the reaction of the normal and friction. The reaction of normal and friction in this particular case, let us assume that it is some R2, because the normal reaction is N2. I am taking it as R2. Between N2 and mu N2, the reaction will be R2. And we know that phi, which is the angle of friction, is the angle between the normal reaction and the resultant of normal reaction and the frictional force. So we can show R2, and similarly I can show R1 here, where let this be also phi, because it is given that mu is constant for all the surfaces, so phi is also constant, because mu is nothing but tan phi. If mu is constant, that should mean tan phi is constant or phi is constant. So what we have done by finding the reaction, finding the resultant of friction and normal reaction is we have reduced the number of forces. Without that also we can do with sigma fx equal to 0 and sigma fy equal to 0, but I'll just show you why I'm doing this. I'm doing this so that I can reduce all the given forces into only 3 forces. So I can apply Lami's theorem. So let us find the value of phi, because mu is tan phi and mu is given as 0.3. Phi is tan inverse 0.3, so that is coming out to be 16.699. So I am rounding it off to 16.7 degrees. So phi is 16.7 degrees. And now here the wedge angle means the inclined plane is at an angle 10 degrees from horizontal. So this is 10 degrees. So that means if I am drawing a vertical, this should be 10. So I'm reducing in place of the entire block. I'm just showing that block as a single point, and I'm going to show all the forces acting through that point. So this is the mass converted into Newton, weight, and there is a R1 over here which is at an angle of phi from horizontal. Phi is nothing but 16.7 degrees, and there is also an R2. This is R2, which is at an angle 10 plus phi from vertical. 10 plus phi is 26.7. This is 26.7 degrees. You may doubt why I have represented a block in the form of a point. Initially, I told you to take down the block in the form and orientation as that is given in the question, so that the normal reactions and all other forces that are acting upon it, all the active and passive forces, can be drawn without any confusion. Once all the forces are shown correctly in terms of the direction, line of action, and the assumed names like n1, n2 or whatever, f1, f2, mu n1, mu n2, in any name we have given to a force. So in the FBD, once the FBD is done, now the body can be assumed to be a point whose weight is acting from its center of gravity. So the body is shown as that point which is its center of gravity, and all other forces acting on the block are acting through this center of gravity. So this assumption will help us use Lami's theorem for quick results. So we are ready with all the 3 forces acting through the same point. They are all concurrent and there are only 3 in number. So now we can apply the Lami's theorem. It is this reason that we have found R, we have written n and mu n in terms of R, because ultimately we are getting only 3 forces. So we can easily apply Lami's theorem. So by Lami's theorem we can find R1 and R2. So we have R1 divided by sine of the angle between the other 2 forces. Could be, let it be some theta. This is equal to R2 divided by the sine of angle between R1 and the weight force. Then this is equal to the weight force, which is 250 into 9.81 divided by sine of angle between R1 and R2. So we have drawn this FBD of the block only because we want R2. If you remember, we need R2. We need R2 because we need to find value of P. So I don't have to find R1 at all. So I can simply neglect any calculation related to this. So I'll consider only R2 by sine of angle between R1 and W. That is equal to 250 into 9.81 divided by sine of angle between R1 and R2. We will find it this way only. So therefore R2 divided by sine of angle between the other 2 forces, which is R1 and W. W is this one. 250 into 9.81. So the angle between this is 90, this is total is 90, 19 minus 16.7 is the angle between R1 and W. So R2 by sine of 90 minus 16.7 is equal to 250 into 9.81 divided by sine of angle between R1 and R2. So from R1 to horizontal is 16.7, from R2 to vertical is 26.7, and this is 90. The total angle is sine of 90 plus 16.7 plus 26.7. Now we know everything in this equation, the only unknown is R2. So if we find R2 by cross multiplication, we get it as 250 into 9.81 multiplied by sine of 90 minus 16.7 divided by sine of 90 plus 16.7 plus 26.7. So this, because 250 is taken in terms of Newton, R2 also will be in terms of Newton. So we get R2 value as 3233.067 newtons. So this is how we have found R2. So without many equations, within one equation we have got R2. We got it in one equation because we applied Lamè's theorem. So for which we have considered the resultants of friction and normal. If there are more contact surfaces, that time this won't be of use much. So let us see the next step of the problem, where we have to find the value of P. So for which we have to draw the FBD of the wedge. So let us draw the FBD of wedge now. So draw the wedge without changing any of its dimensions, shapes or orientation. So I have drawn the wedge as it appears in the question. It is subjected to an external force P, and because P is given leftward, the wedge is supposed to move leftward. So it means the motion is leftward, so the friction will be rightward. The friction will be this. The normal reaction is N3. So never use the same normal reaction name for any of the, if every force you have to give a different name. Even in the previous case, when we have considered here, we have given a normal reaction name as N1. Friction related to that is mu into N1. But when it comes to another surface, the normal reaction is N2. Never use the same N all the time. So you will only be confused because N1 is not equal to N2. If it becomes equal, that's a rare exceptional case. By chance it may happen, but otherwise N1 is entirely different from N2, and so is N3. So here the normal reaction from the flow to wedge is N3, and the friction is mu into N3. And there is naturally there is a normal reaction from the block also, but because we have already found R2 is a resultant force that is acting from wedge to block. So this resultant is taking care of both mu N2 and N2. So if at all I have to show only, say for example the normal reaction is N2 here, then I have to also consider the friction between wedge and the block, because wedge is moving leftward, then the friction must be in this direction. Now we don't consider where the block is going, we are considering only FBD of wedge. Wedge is moving leftward, so the friction will be rightward. So on the inclined plane also the frictional force will be right up, because the object is moving leftward. So this will be mu N2. Now if at all we want to find, say this is the mu N2, this is N2, then its resultant is R2. So whether if at all you want to consider N2 separately, then you have to also consider this friction related to that. If at all you are using R2 in FBD, you don't have to consider N2 and mu N2, because R2 is a resultant of N2 and mu N2. So because already we have the value of R2, I want to use R2 the way it is. I don't want to use N2 and mu N2 separately. So because I already have R2, I am using R2. This is R2, which is nothing but 3233.067, and the R2 force is at 10 plus 5 means 10 plus 16.7 is 26.7 degrees from vertical. So therefore, if at all I draw a vertical here, this is acting at 26.7 degrees from vertical. So these are the forces that are acting on the wedge. So this is the FBD of wedge. So here also we can find the reaction resultant between mu n3 and n3, find R3, then again apply the Lami's theorem and easily we can find P. But this time let us use the equilibrium equations. So I am just trying to solve the same problem, different parts of it in different methods, so that you can understand that any method which is appropriate, which is comfortable for you, can be used. So now I am going with the equilibrium conditions, equations of equilibrium. So I am going with sigma Fy is equal to 0 first. So now don't get confused with this R3 anymore. If you are using R3, then there is no N3 and mu N3. If you are using N3 and mu N3, there is no R3. Alright, you cannot use the same force twice. So here I am going with sigma Fy equal to 0. Upward forces are positive, so N3 is positive. Then the weight, I haven't shown the weight of this block, the wedge. The weight of the wedge is given. It is 50 kg, 50 into 9.81. So after showing the weight also, the FBD is then complete. So this is the FBD. So N3 minus 50 into 9.81. Then R2 vertical component is negative, so that is 3233.067. The component is cos 26.7, because if this is 26.7, this will be 26.7, and therefore this particular component will be cos of the resultant. So this is equal to 0. This is the equation of N3. Only one equation and one unknown, so I can find N3 as 50 into 9.81 plus 3233.067 cos 26.7. That comes out to be 3378.82 newtons. So see how bigger values of normal reactions that we are getting. In the previous FBD, we have straight away found the resultant of friction and normal reaction. So there we could not find the value of N1 and N2 separately. So, but here we are using sigma Fy equal to 0. So we got N3 value, which is very, very high. Let us see what value P should be. P could be, because we said the advantage of wedges, with smaller input we get relatively a higher normal reactions. So for which we have to find P. So therefore let us go with sigma Fx equal to 0, another equation of equilibrium. So the rightward forces are positive, the leftward forces are negative. So we have mu N3 is a rightward force. So I have to find a horizontal component of R2. Horizontal component of R2 is 3233.067. Vertical component was R2 cos theta. So this is R2 sin theta. So that is also rightward, so I took a plus. Then there is a minus P over here, which is equal to 0. So mu is given as 0.3. N3 is just found from sigma F equal to 0 equation. It is something like this. Then we have other term. Solving this, we get value of P. So when we are solving the left hand side, we are getting P as 2466.325 Newton, because used R2 is in Newton. The weight is also taken in Newton only. Mass is converted in Newton, right? So this is value of P, the minimum value of force that should be applied to raise the block. So it is this. So in the likewise, like how we have considered FBD of wedge, like that we can consider FBD of the block also in terms of just frictions and normal reactions. There we have to apply sigma fx equal to 0, sigma fy equal to 0. Then we will be finding N2. So here we will consider the FBD of wedge also in terms of N2 and mu N2. So using those previous values of N2 from the previous FBD of block, we have to apply the value of N2 here, and we can find N3 and thereby P. So you can draw the FBD, you can with all the due consideration of all the forces without changing the directions and line of action of force, without changing any of them. If you can draw the FBD correctly, then whether you are finding the resultant of two different forces and replacing them, you are using all the forces as they are to and applying sigma fx equal to 0 and sigma fy equal to 0, doesn't make any difference. So but why we have considered this is one of the advantage of using a wedge. In analyzing also it is easy. So because there are inclined planes, and on wedge, in wedge also there are only hardly two surfaces that are in contact, because it is a wedge of this kind, right? So one surface is this inclined plane, so you will have forces on this, and another version is there will be a friction here and a normal reaction here. So the number of surfaces that a wedge is having is also lesser in number. Because of that also it is possible, most often it will be easy for us to convert all the forces and apply Lami's theorem. So this is not possible with every other object. Wedge is a triangular object, so we can simplify the forces to apply Lami's theorem. So this is one of the advantages which I did not mention it while describing the definition of it, because it is not applicable all the times, but most of the times analyzing is easy because we can apply Lami's theorem. But analytically also you can do it this way, by sigma fx equal to 0 and sigma fy equal to 0. So this is the solution to the given problem.
Thanks for watching. If this video was of help to you, please like it and share it with your friends. And don't forget to subscribe to our channel.